Next tonight, a picture of something so obvious it has everyone saying, "How did you not see that?"
Undoubtedly, sports captivate us. That indescribable emotion, when a beloved player or team clinches their long-sought victory, can leave even grown men tearful. The drive to win prompts athletes to go to extremes. Some play despite severe injuries, while others make significant personal sacrifices. Yet some athletes disregard rules for an advantage. Luckily, numerous such individuals are caught red-handed. Dive in as we unveil the 20 craziest instances of athletes caught cheating on live TV. Number 1. BRIANNA MANZELL. BRIANNA MANZELL, the ex-wife of former NFL quarterback Johnny Manziel, faced controversy in 2019. While both had rumors of infidelity in their 2021 divorce, BRIANNA, a fitness influencer and Instagram model, made headlines for her participation in the Run Like a Diva half marathon. Without previous training, she astonishingly completed the 13.1-mile race in 1 hour and 58 minutes. Given that most non-elite female runners take over 2 hours for a half marathon, eyebrows were raised. Adding to suspicions, she reportedly reached the 6.4-mile point in 1 hour and 31 minutes, suggesting an implausible remaining 6.7 miles in 27 minutes. Despite her defense, the evidence, including her in-race photos and videos, made her timing seem improbable. But to each their own interpretation. Number 2. Rosie Ruiz. In 1980, Rosie Ruiz took part in the Boston Marathon's 84th iteration and clinched victory. This Cuban-American runner, previously unknown, completed the race in 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 56 seconds. This not only set a Boston Marathon female record, but also marked the third swiftest female marathon time globally. Her time improvement was staggering, and when asked about it, she seemed uncertain. Given her relative obscurity, her win raised eyebrows. Was this accomplishment genuine? Could drugs be involved? Or was it sheer talent that enabled an underdog to dominate one of the globe's most grueling marathons on a warm, 70-degree day? However, inconsistencies began to emerge. Race officials claimed they hadn't spotted Rosie for most of the marathon. Footage showed her only in the concluding moments, sprinting towards the finish line. A mere 8 days later, the truth unraveled. Multiple observers reported seeing Rosie merge into the race from the sidelines, barely a mile from the finish. Eyewitnesses also claimed she had taken the subway during the New York Marathon months earlier. Rosie refuted these claims, but the accumulating evidence was undeniable. Ultimately, she was deprived of her title and marathon victory. Number 3. Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard, a household name for NBA enthusiasts, burst onto the scene as the first overall pick for the Orlando Magic. Stepping onto the hardwood, immense expectations loomed over him, and for the most part, he met them. Multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards adorned his career, and he even guided his team to the NBA Finals. However, like many NBA stars, Dwight's journey eventually led him away from the Magic. Regrettably, he didn't quite reach the lofty heights predicted during his prime. In a memorable moment in March 2016, while donning the Houston Rockets jersey against the Atlanta Hawks, game officials made a peculiar discovery. They noticed a strange, tacky substance on the ball after Dwight's touch. After some investigation, it was revealed that a member of the Rockets bench had applied a banned adhesive called stickum to the ball. Stickum, long prohibited in professional sports since the 1980s, aids players in enhancing their grip. Although no player was formally accused during the game, Dwight Howard confessed to the Houston Chronicle that he was responsible for using stickum on the ball. Shockingly, he admitted to using this illicit material in every game he played. Astonishingly, Dwight escaped without significant penalties, receiving only a simple warning. He managed to avoid what could have been a considerably more challenging predicament. Number 4. Spanish Paralympic. In a shocking and disgraceful incident, the Spanish Paralympic basketball team tarnished the spirit of fair play at the 2000 Sydney Paralympics. While most of us would never fathom cheating disabled athletes in pursuit of glory, this team shamefully resorted to such tactics. Initially, the Spanish learning disabled basketball team appeared unstoppable, clinching the gold medal by defeating the Russian team and earning adulation as heroes. However, their triumph was short-lived, as it was eventually revealed that 10 out of the 12 players on the team were not learning disabled, but in good health. The scandal unfolded as a player from the team admitted that they had exploited lax rules to assemble a seemingly disabled squad. The depth of deception went even further. The team had been clandestinely training around the world for 2 years, competing against actual learning disabled teams and defeating them. To compound the disgrace, the president of the Spanish Federation of Sports for the Intellectually Disabled was implicated in this scandal, revealing a deeply corrupt core within the organization. This episode was a disturbing stain on the Paralympic sports world, a stark reminder of how far some would go for personal gain at the expense of integrity and fairness. Number 5. Tom Williams. In a pivotal 2009 Heineken Cup match, the English Harlequins faced off against the Irish Leinster. The game took a scandalous turn when Tom Williams of the Harlequins was substituted in the closing moments due to an apparent mouth injury, causing blood to stream out. It was evident that he couldn't continue, leaving Nick Evans as the only available substitute. Notably, Evans had been subbed off earlier due to injury, a situation that should have prohibited his re-entry into the match under standard rules. However, a blood-related injury exception allowed him back in, conveniently aligning with the Harlequins' needs to secure victory. What made this episode more suspicious was Tom's sly wink to his teammates as he left the field, indicating complicity rather than injury. This raised doubts, prompting an investigation by the European Rugby Commission. Shockingly, the investigation revealed that Tom had been given a blood capsule by the team's physician, instructed to feign injury to facilitate Nick's return. The mastermind behind this deceitful ploy was Dean Williams, the Harlequins' chief executive. As a result of their actions, Tom, Dean Williams, and the team physio were all banned from the sport. Furthermore, the Harlequins were slapped with a hefty fine of £260,000. Ironically, the cheating didn't even yield victory for the Harlequins, leaving them on the losing side on all fronts. This scandal remains a black mark on the history of rugby, serving as a stark reminder of the lengths some individuals and teams will go to for an advantage. Number 6. Michael Pineda. In 2014, Michael Pineda, a pitcher for the New York Yankees, took his quest for a better grip on the baseball a step too far. Despite MLB rules banning foreign substances from contacting the ball, Pineda decided to push the envelope. During a game, he was seen with a noticeable smudge on his neck, suspected to be pine tar, a banned substance known for improving grip. His actions sparked controversy, earning him a suspension and a fine. Cycling is renowned for its physically demanding nature, and Franca van der Driska, a Belgian cyclist, sought an edge during the 2016 Cyclo World Championships. Instead of resorting to performance-enhancing drugs, she embarked on a cunning plan. During the race, she stopped, claiming her bike was faulty. Officials inspected it and discovered wires and a concealed battery under her seat connected to a motor linked to her bicycle's crankshaft. Franca could discreetly operate the system using a Bluetooth button on her handlebars. Her operation was remarkably slick, and she strategically employed the motor in specific areas, making challenging climbs seem effortless. Franca's defense was that the bike belonged to a friend she was merely borrowing. Although the friend confirmed her story, Franca received severe penalties: a 6-year ban from cycling, a 20,000 Swiss franc fine, and the stripping of all her titles. This incident serves as a reminder that cheating in sports can take various forms, all carrying consequences for integrity and fair competition. Number 7. Will Smith. Michael Pineda wasn't the lone player caught attempting to gain an unfair advantage with a baseball. Pitchers have a history of using foreign substances to improve their grip. In a match against the Atlanta Braves, another pitcher named Will Smith found himself in the spotlight. Everyone, from officials to Braves players, noticed something suspiciously sticky on his arm. This Will Smith, unlike the charismatic Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, lacked any coolness in this situation. What's truly astonishing is that the substance on his arm was so conspicuous that opposing players standing 60 feet away could easily spot it. Will Smith's feeble excuse was that it was a mix of rosin and sunscreen he had been using in practice. However, his weak alibi couldn't withstand scrutiny, and he was swiftly caught cheating, adding his name to the list of pitchers trying to bend the rules for their benefit. Number 8. Marwin Hitz. Soccer, often dubbed the beautiful game, sometimes has players like Marwin Hitz who challenge that ideal. In 2016, Hitz, a goalkeeper for Augsburg FC, engaged in unsportsmanlike conduct during a match against Köln FC that left a bitter taste in many mouths. During a crucial moment, Hitz was tasked with stopping a penalty shot from Köln's striker, Anthony Modesta. While the referees were preparing for the kick, Hitz slyly dug his studs into the turf near the spot where the penalty would be taken. As Modesta approached for the kick, he suddenly lost his footing on the compromised turf, enabling Hitz to make the save. Afterward, Hitz did apologize for his unsportsmanlike behavior and even received a €122 fine for the damage he had caused to the field. Nevertheless, it's likely that both players and fans would remember this incident, harboring a grudge against Hitz for his actions on that day. Number 9. Sammy Sosa. Sammy Sosa, renowned for his incredible hitting prowess in Major League Baseball, had a stellar career marked by glowing records and numerous highlight-worthy moments. However, his impeccable reputation was not without its blemishes. One such incident occurred during a game between his Chicago Cubs and the Tampa Bay Rays in 2003. Sosa was at bat, and when he made contact with the ball, his bat shattered into pieces. As the umpires examined the broken bat, they discovered bits of cork inside it. Cork had long been believed to make bats lighter, potentially allowing hitters to generate more power in their swings. Although science has debunked this myth, a lighter bat could improve aiming accuracy by delaying the hitter's swing slightly. Sammy's bat was deemed in violation of MLB regulations, resulting in his immediate ejection from the game. He later claimed it was a mistake, but his excuse didn't win him any favors. He received a 7-game suspension, a reminder that even prolific hitters can find themselves on the wrong side of the rules. Number 10. Vincenzo Nibali. In the case of Vincenzo Nibali, a notable incident occurred during a competition in 2015. Nibali found himself at a disadvantage after being involved in a massive crash, leaving him trailing behind his competitors. However, a peculiar twist unfolded when he received unexpected assistance from a team car. These support vehicles typically offer necessities like towels and water to help athletes during races. Yet, as Nibali returned a water bottle to the team car, he clung to it and refused to let go. It's unclear whether Nibali was exceptionally thirsty or if he saw an opportunity to turn the team car into a makeshift tow vehicle. Regardless, the outcome was clear. Nibali received an unintended free ride, raising suspicions and eyebrows. This unorthodox move ultimately led to his disqualification from the race, serving as a reminder that cycling's competitive spirit should be upheld within the boundaries of fair play. Number 11. Sal ALOSI. In the annals of football scandals, Sal ALOSI's infamous 2010 incident stands out as one of the slimiest moves ever witnessed. Serving as the strength coach for the New York Jets at the time, ALOSI's actions during a game against the Miami Dolphins forever etched his name into the annals of infamy. In that fateful game, as the Jets were on defense, Dolphins cornerback Nolan Carroll sprinted near ALOSI and the Jets bench. In an egregious act, ALOSI deliberately stuck out his knee to trip Carroll, causing a breakdown in the play. But ALOSI's wrongdoing didn't end there. According to reports, he had allegedly instructed inactive Jets players to form a human barricade along the sidelines, further obstructing opposing players. This unsportsmanlike behavior created an additional challenge for opponents trying to navigate that side of the field. The consequences for ALOSI were swift and severe. He received a $25,000 fine and was suspended for the remainder of the season without pay. ALOSI parted ways with the Jets in 2011 and has not returned to the NFL since. Number 12. Romano FENATI. In the world of professional sports, maintaining composure is a vital attribute. Unfortunately, Romano FENATI seemed to have missed that lesson early in his career. During the San Marino Moto2 finale, FENATI found himself in a tense situation. As he was navigating a turn, a rival racer, Stefano Manzi, overtook him. Enraged by this turn of events, FENATI took a dangerous and reckless course of action. He drove towards Manzi and intentionally grabbed Manzi's front brakes, even though they were both racing at speeds exceeding 130 miles per hour. This reckless maneuver had the potential to be fatal for Manzi. FENATI's actions had severe consequences. He was immediately disqualified from the race, had his racing license revoked, and his contract with the Marinelli Snipers team was terminated. The gravity of the situation was such that the Italian justice system contemplated charging FENATI with attempted murder, a notion that holds some validity given the life-threatening nature of his actions. It was indeed a perilous move that could have resulted in a tragic outcome. Number 13. 2012 London Olympics. During the 2012 London Olympics, badminton, typically known for its intense competition, witnessed an unusual and unsportsmanlike tactic. The organizers had structured the competition with a round-robin format where all teams would face each other and match results would determine the groupings for the knockout phases. Some crafty teams saw an opportunity to manipulate this system. In the women's doubles tournament, both the Chinese and South Korean teams decided to exploit this strategy by intentionally losing their matches. The result was a game that was anything but sporting. It descended into chaos. To make matters worse, several other countries, including Indonesia and Malaysia, were also discovered attempting to employ the same unethical strategy. The consequences were swift and severe. All the teams involved were disqualified from the competition, serving as a stark reminder that the Olympics stand for fair play, sportsmanship, and honest competition, and attempts to manipulate the system are not tolerated. Number 14. Brian Carrasco. In 2011, Chilean defender Brian Carrasco found himself in a rather unconventional situation during an under-21 World Cup qualifier against Ecuador. With Ecuador preparing for a throw-in and holding a one-goal lead, Carrasco faced the dilemma of dealing with a physically larger opponent, Edson Montano. Rather than attempting a straightforward challenge, Carrasco resorted to an unorthodox tactic. He grabbed Montano's hand and theatrically punched himself in the face with it, creating an amusing and bizarre scene on the field. The referee immediately called for a replay, and everyone had a good laugh when they realized Carrasco had essentially taken a punch for his team. The remarkable part of Carrasco's ploy was that it worked. Chile was awarded a free kick, but they failed to convert it, ultimately losing the match 1-0. Despite the defeat, Carrasco's theatrical performance left a lasting impression, and some might argue that he deserved an Oscar for his comically exaggerated actions on the pitch. Number 15. SHAHID AFRIDI. In 2010, during a one-day international cricket match against Australia, SHAHID AFRIDI, the Pakistani cricketer, found himself embroiled in controversy. As his team trailed significantly with Australia in the lead, Afridi resorted to a rather unorthodox and desperate tactic to gain an advantage for his team. He decided to tamper with the ball. However, Afridi's method of ball tampering was far from discreet. Instead of subtly scuffing the ball, he literally bit down on it. This audacious move immediately caught the attention of the umpires. Despite Afridi's improbable claim that he was merely attempting to smell the ball, a puzzling explanation, he couldn't evade the consequences of his actions. Afridi was handed a 2-match ban for his ball tampering, marking a stain on his cricketing career. At least after his suspension, he had ample time to satisfy his appetite with some real food, as his peculiar decision to use his mouth to tamper with the ball became a memorable incident in cricketing history. Number 16. Patrick Reed, renowned in the golfing world, found himself embroiled in controversy following his 2018 Masters win. The incident in question occurred during the 2019 Hero World Challenge, illustrating Reed's questionable approach to a tricky situation. In this particular event, Reed's ball became lodged in a sand dune, presenting a challenging shot. Rather than relying on his skills, Reed resorted to a cheeky maneuver. He began testing different clubs, but cameras soon caught him deliberately attempting to move sand from beneath his ball, significantly altering the playing surface. Not only did he do this once, but he repeated the action. In golf, grounding the club is a violation of the rules, let alone shifting mounds of sand to improve one's lie. Reed's actions were promptly noticed, resulting in a 2-stroke penalty. Adding insult to injury, his shot didn't even yield the desired outcome. The ball rolled over and off the green. It was a clear case of karma coming back to haunt him on the golf course. Number 17. Valentino Rossi. In the high-octane world of MotoGP, few rivalries have matched the intensity of the one between Valentino Rossi and Marc Marquez. These motorcycle legends battled fiercely for supremacy in the sport, clashing on the track at every opportunity. However, the rivalry reached its zenith at the 2015 Malaysian Grand Prix. On the 13th lap, Marquez attempted to overtake Rossi on a corner, bringing them dangerously close. In a sudden twist, Marquez lost control and crashed, going entirely off the track. Though he emerged unscathed, Marquez accused Rossi of intentionally causing his crash, a claim seemingly supported by the replay. This incident led to a significant outcome. Rossi, a 9-time world champion, was penalized with a 3-point penalty, forcing him to start the next race from the back of the grid. The 2015 Malaysian Grand Prix added a dramatic chapter to the rivalry between these two iconic riders, leaving MotoGP fans buzzing with controversy and anticipation. Number 18. Diego Maradona. Diego Maradona, unquestionably one of the greatest soccer players in history, shares soccer's Mount Rushmore with legends like Pelé and Messi. However, Maradona was far from the squeaky clean image associated with some other soccer icons. His life was marred by drug scandals and wild parties, and his penchant for crazy antics sometimes spilled onto the field. Maradona's most infamous moment occurred during the 1986 World Cup, when Argentina faced England in a pivotal match. In the second half, Maradona showcased his brilliance by dribbling past multiple English players and entering the English penalty area. As he attempted to reach a loose ball, he fell short but quickly improvised. In a daring move, he raised his hand close to his head and used it to guide the ball into the English goal, famously dubbing it the Hand of God. While everyone knew Maradona had handled the ball, the referees and linesmen couldn't see it, allowing the goal to stand. To this day, this incident remains the most notorious goal in World Cup history. Argentina went on to win the World Cup that year, leaving an indelible mark on soccer history. Desperation to win is not uncommon, but Maradona's audacious move took it to the extreme. 19. Mike Tyson, known as one of the most formidable boxers in history, earned the moniker the baddest man on the planet during his prime. His knack for knocking out opponents in the first round struck fear into the hearts of many. However, Iron Mike had a well-documented issue with anger, and it came to a head in 1997 during a match against Evander Holyfield, the new sensation in the boxing world. In a moment of extreme frustration, Tyson let his temper get the better of him. The shock of the spectators, he bit Holyfield's ear. The replay captured the astonishing moment as Tyson lunged toward Holyfield's ear. This act resulted in a 1-point deduction for Tyson. The match grew increasingly heated, leading to its eventual stoppage. As a consequence of his actions, Tyson had his boxing license revoked for a year and was slapped with a $3 million fine. Surprisingly, despite their tumultuous history, Tyson and Holyfield later reconciled and became friends, showcasing that even in the world of boxing, redemption and forgiveness can prevail. Have you ever witnessed or been caught cheating in sports?